Hello, all you adorable fluff butts out there. Get the Solus here, and today we're going to talk about something that honestly used to be really important to me. Something that I lost sight of a couple of years back. But before we get into all of that, it feels like I owe you guys a little bit of an apology, because I did say it was going to be Fallout 76 in the background of these, and honestly, guys, I tried, but there's just too much going on in that game for me to stop and think. There's too much gunplay, there's too many quests, too much dialogue, there's too much to do, and the fast travel system makes it too easy for me to get around. So while it might have flashier, more exciting gameplay, it doesn't really have what inspires me, and that's actually sort of what I'm showing you guys on screen now. You see, it's moments like these that I can stop and think about the world around me, and that's actually what inspires these rants. So, I'm sorry, but I've got to be true to myself with these ones. But anyhow, with that said, let's get on to the real topic, and that's the messed up relationship that our community seems to have with hatred. And it's really not hard to see, especially here in the furry community where we have so many, let's call them flavors of hatred. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about right now, here, let me give you a taste. Let's say you have a fursuit. Well, is it a phoenix nest? Aw, it's not? Okay, so you're too poor for a name brand. Well, is it $1,800 or more? Oh, it's not. Oh, you poor thing. You're not really a furry then. People like you don't belong in this community. Get out of here. And yeah, I know not everybody in the community has a fursuit, so if you're not one of the people that would have this particular issue, let's go with one that's a little closer to home for a lot of people. You're not a real furry unless you're a blue femboy fox in pink socks taking all of the cocks. Or how about the baseline example for any furry with a political opinion and a social media account? Oh my god, you voted for who? You're a monster, you're a Nazi, you don't deserve to live, you're not really a furry, get out of our spaces, we're gonna ban you. And sadly, these are just some of the ways that our community has taught us lately to label and divide each other into these little groups and subcategories within the fandom, and all it does is breeds hatred. It's turned the fandom from this loving community that welcomed everyone because of a shared interest in something special into this tribalistic war zone of hate and threats and isolation, and all it does is teaches us to hate each other, and worse, it teaches us to hate ourselves. Because if you don't believe like somebody else does, you're immediately a Nazi or a fascist. Or if you don't love the way that somebody else thinks you should, you're a bigot or a transphobe or a homophobe. And the more and more it's repeated at you, screamed at you, the more and more you believe it, and you start hating everything about who you are as a person just because other people won't accept that you're different. Now, I'll be honest, when I originally joined the furry community, it was because of this kind of thinking. It was because everywhere else I was an outcast because I was either too quiet or too shy, or I was just that weird kid that didn't dress right, or didn't do the things that other people my age should. But here in the furry fandom, I wasn't that awkward, creepy guy that never talks to anybody. I was just shy, and people recognized that and let me come to them instead of trying to force me into situations I didn't want to be in. I wasn't some crazy freak who could never get a girlfriend. I was just gay, and little by little this community helped me learn to love myself again. And it's because of things like this that I was able to one day find the hope and the courage to let this awkward little fox into my life who grew into this beautiful, kind, and caring crow who I've loved now for going on 20 years and who I hope will be a part of my life until the very end. So when I see that same hatred and division creeping into the community that saved my life and helped me find so many of the beautiful people that I know and love, it's like a knife to my heart. It is utterly maddening to me to watch so many good and beautiful and unique people try to beat themselves endlessly into a mold that they will never fit into for people who will never know them or never love them for who they truly are inside. And now I have to admit that I fell back into that same spiral of self-hatred recently. I stopped ranting because so many people were screaming at me, telling me I was a monster for the things I was saying, and that I should kill myself for the beliefs I held. I stopped opening up and stopped reaching out to other people because I honestly grew to believe that I didn't deserve to have anyone who cared about me in my life. And now that I'm trying to once again crawl out of this pit, I'm realizing that there are so many of us that are down here with me. So, instead of climbing on our own, instead of trying to find our own way to do it, why the hell don't we as a community start trying to build ladders? See, I know how impossibly hard it can feel to climb out of that pit on your own, and I know what it's like to be the only person at the top looking down on that much suffering, and I know no one ever wants to be there. So from here on out, I want to start building. Because honestly, I would rather spend the rest of my life trying to build ladders with rungs made of things like love and kindness and compassion and acceptance than to sit here and help dig a pit of sorrow and despair that our collective hatred has made for us even deeper. And maybe if enough of us are willing to do the same and work towards a better tomorrow, then just maybe we'll be able to rebuild a community based on love and acceptance for one another and put all of this collective hatred behind us.